400 million computers. That's how many machines Microsoft is about to send to the landfill, not because they're broken, but because one man decided they were obsolete. 400 million. That's more people than live in the entire United States, more machines than exist in most countries on Earth, and almost all of them still work perfectly fine. You turn on your PC today, and it doesn't feel like yours anymore. Pop-ups demanding you sign in before you can even reach your desktop. Ads inside your start menu, the same start menu you've used for 30 years, the one that used to just show you your own programs. Forced updates that restart your machine in the middle of a document you haven't saved. And now, a chatbot quietly reading through your files, asking if you'd like help with things you never asked it to look at. How did we get here? How did the company that put a computer on every desk and in every home turn that same computer into something that watches you, sells you, and quietly decides when it's time to throw your machine away? There's one man behind this. His name is Satya Nadella, and by the end of this video, I'm going to show you, using his own words, his own strategy memos, and his own product decisions, exactly how he did it. Not by accident, on purpose. And I'm going to show you exactly what it's costing you in dollars, not just in patience. To understand what happened to Windows, you have to understand where Nadella came from. He didn't come from Windows, he came from server rooms. Before he became CEO in 2014, Nadella spent his entire career building Azure, Microsoft's cloud computing business. Azure doesn't sell you a machine. Azure rents you computing power by the hour, forever, with a bill that never stops coming. That's the business Nadella built his name on, the business that made him a billionaire and made him the obvious choice for CEO. And it's a great business for Microsoft. Recurring revenue every single month from millions of customers who never actually own anything, who can never walk away and stop paying without losing access to everything they built. Now here's the problem. To a man who thinks like that, the personal computer, the machine sitting on your desk that you bought once with cash and own outright, isn't an asset. It's a missed opportunity. It's a one-time sale instead of a forever subscription. From where Nadella sits, every PC that you own free and clear, with no monthly bill attached to it, is money Microsoft isn't collecting. When Nadella took over, he didn't say, "I'm going to kill Windows." Of course not. What he said internally to his own engineers was that Windows users were now an audience, not customers, an audience. And in one early strategy meeting, he reportedly pointed out to developers that they now had 500 million Windows 10 devices that you can now reach. Talking about your personal computer the way a TV network talks about ad inventory during the Super Bowl. Think about that phrase for a second. 500 million devices to reach, not 500 million people to serve. To reach. Like targets on a marketing list, not human beings who trusted this company with their finances, their photographs, their medical records. From that moment, the strategy inside Microsoft quietly shifted. Stop pouring resources into making Windows the best operating system on Earth. Start treating every Windows PC as a terminal, a doorway into Microsoft's cloud empire where the real money was. Your computer stopped being the product. It became the delivery truck. And a delivery truck doesn't need to be comfortable. It just needs to keep running long enough to deliver the package, which in this case is you. Once a company starts seeing your machine as a delivery truck instead of a product you paid for, everything else in this story follows logically. Coming up, I'll show you exactly what that looked like in practice, and it's worse than ads in your start menu. Stick around, because the next part is where they stopped asking for permission. Here's where it gets personal. Literally, they took the personal out of personal computer, one decision at a time, each one small enough to swallow on its own. First, the Microsoft account. There was a time you could set up a brand new Windows PC with 0 internet connection, 0 email address, 0 account. Just you and your machine the way it should be. Try that today on Windows 11. Good luck. Microsoft now forces most users into creating an online account just to use a computer that's sitting on their own desk, plugged into their own wall, paid for with their own money, with no help from Microsoft whatsoever. Why does a word processor need to know who you are? It doesn't. But an account means a profile. A profile means data, and data is the new product they're selling, except this time, you're not the customer buying it. You're the raw material. Second, the bloatware and the ads. Open the Start menu today, and you'll find suggested apps you never asked for, ads disguised as recommendations, and software you can't fully remove without digging through hidden settings most people will never find or even know exist. Imagine buying a brand new car, and when you turn the key, a salesman's voice plays from the dashboard, suggesting extended warranties and undercoating before you've even left the driveway. That's your Start menu now, every single time you click it. Third, and this is the one that should make every one of you furious, TPM 2.0. When Windows 11 launched, Microsoft quietly required a security chip called TPM 2.0 to install it. Sounds technical, so let me put it simply. It's a small chip on the motherboard. If your computer, a computer that runs perfectly fine, that you maybe bought 5 or 6 years ago, that owes you nothing, doesn't have that exact chip, Windows 11 won't install. Officially, the result? Estimates point to as many as 400 million perfectly functional PCs that will never receive new security updates and are being pushed toward the scrap heap, not because they stopped working, but because Microsoft decided a feature mattered more than the machine you already paid for in full. 400 million computers, many of them still perfectly capable of running everything you need, heading for landfills because one company moved the finish line on you without asking, and here's where it hits your wallet directly. Once Windows 10 stops receiving security updates, you have 3 choices, and Microsoft designed all 3 to cost you money. Buy a brand new PC even though yours works fine. Pay Microsoft directly for extended security updates, a yearly fee just to keep getting protected on a machine you already bought once, or run an unsupported, increasingly vulnerable computer and hope nothing goes wrong. There is no fourth option where you simply keep using your paid-for property the way you always have, for free, forever. That option used to exist. It doesn't anymore. Fourth, your browser. Try to set your default browser to anything other than Microsoft Edge. Windows will nag you. It'll reset preferences after updates without telling you. It'll throw pop-ups asking if you're sure, as if choosing a different browser on your own computer is a mistake that needs correcting by the manufacturer. And now, the newest layer on top of all of it, Copilot. Microsoft's AI assistant baked directly into the operating system, appearing in your Start menu, in your File Explorer, even in Notepad, a program so simple it hasn't needed a single new feature in 20 years until now. You didn't ask for an AI to live inside every corner of your machine. It's there anyway, and in many versions, it isn't fully removable. Add it all up, the forced accounts, the ads, the orphaned hardware, the yearly fees to stay protected, the hijacked browser defaults, the AI in every window, and the picture becomes very clear. You are not a client anymore. You are the product. But here's the thing. Everything I just described is annoying. Some of it is even infuriating, and some of it is costing you real money every year. None of it, however, compares to what I'm about to show you next. Because what Microsoft built after this isn't just intrusive. It's a feature that quietly photographs your entire life, and for a while, anyone on your network could have read it without even trying. In May 2024, Microsoft unveiled a new feature for Windows called Recall. Here's what it does in plain English. Every 5 seconds, it takes a screenshot of your entire screen. Everything. Then it stores that screenshot, analyzes it, and builds a searchable timeline of your entire digital life so you can later type a question like, What was that recipe I looked at last Tuesday? And recall we'll dig up the exact screenshot, word for word, pixel for pixel. Sounds convenient right up until you think about what's actually on your screen throughout an average day. Your online banking, private messages to your spouse, your kids, your doctor, medical search results you typed in at 2 in the morning, passwords typed into forms that weren't supposed to be saved anywhere. Every single one of those moments photographed automatically, every 5 seconds, without you pressing a single button, without a single warning popping up to ask if that's actually okay with you. Now, here's the part that turned this from uncomfortable into a full-blown scandal. Security researchers discovered that this enormous, deeply personal database of screenshots was being stored in plain text, meaning unencrypted, meaning readable, by basically anyone with access to that machine. No special hacking tools required. No password needed beyond what was already on the computer. A feature designed to remember your entire life was, for a period, about as secure as a spiral notebook left wide open on your kitchen table for any visitor to flip through. The backlash was immediate and loud enough that Microsoft was forced to delay the rollout and rework the security from the ground up. But ask yourself the real question here. Why does an operating system need to photograph your entire screen every 5 seconds in the first place? What problem does that actually solve for you, the person sitting at the keyboard? The answer takes us right back to where we started. Artificial intelligence needs data, mountains of it, constantly refreshed to function and improve. And what is more valuable to an AI company than a live, constantly updating record of exactly how real people use their computers, what they search for, what they type, what they click, what they hesitate over? To Satya Nadella's Microsoft, you were never the customer in this story. You are the data set the entire AI strategy runs on. That's the line connecting everything in this video: the forced accounts, the ads, the orphaned hardware, the yearly fees, the AI in every corner of the OS, and finally, recall, the feature that turns your private screen into training material for a machine you never agreed to feed. It's not a series of unfortunate decisions made by accident. It's one strategy executed patiently over more than a decade by a man who never thought of your PC as yours to begin with. Let's stop talking in abstractions for a moment and talk numbers, because that's where the story stops being annoying and starts being theft by 1,000 small cuts. A Windows 11 license bundled into a new PC. When you were forced to buy that PC early because your old one was artificially declared obsolete, that's hundreds of dollars you didn't plan to spend this year. Extended security, updates for a Windows 10 machine that worked perfectly well. That's a recurring annual fee every single year for the privilege of staying safe on hardware you already paid for once. A Microsoft 365 subscription that used to be a one-time purchase of Office, now billed monthly, forever, with no end date, ever, as long as you want to keep using the documents you've already created. Yet none of that includes the time. The hours spent fighting pop-ups, disabling settings that reactivate themselves after every update, hunting through menus to remove ads from a computer you bought brand new. Multiply that by hundreds of millions of users, and you start to see the actual size of what's being extracted here. Not through one dramatic theft, but through 1,000 small, constant, perfectly legal withdrawals. So let's bring this together. Microsoft's founding mission, in its earliest and most honest form, was simple. A computer on every desk and in every home. A tool. Something you owned, something that worked for you, something that answered to you and nobody else, something that didn't need permission from Redmond to function. Under Satya Nadella, that mission was quietly rewritten. Today's Windows doesn't exist primarily to serve you. It exists to keep you logged into an account to keep ads in front of your eyes, to keep your hardware on a forced replacement schedule, to keep small fees flowing in year after year, and to keep a steady stream of your personal data flowing into an AI machine that profits whether you're happy or not. He didn't kill Windows by neglect. He killed the idea of Windows as your machine, on purpose, decision by decision, because in his world, a customer who owns something outright and asks nothing more of you is worth far less than a subscriber who logs in every single day, forever, and pays a little bit more every year for the privilege. Has Microsoft gone too far? I want to know what you think. Tell me in the comments whether you felt this shift on your own machine and what specific change made you angriest. If this made your blood boil, you're going to want to see what Google has been quietly doing to your Android phone with that exact same playbook. Same strategy, different logo, and in some ways, it goes even further than anything you just saw here.